Did you know the food that you're feeding your dog is toxic? You may be surprised. I'm going to explain all that and more in part 2 of this series, Environmental Toxins for Dogs, all about dog foods. All that and more coming up. Hello dog lover, my name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, I also coach dog owners. If this is your first time, welcome. One of the most common parts of a dog's health and well-being is its diet. Basically what they eat. If you're one of those dog owners who's feeding their dogs kibble or dry food, I have to be honest with you and tell you that you're not helping your dog. You're adding toxins to your dog's body and it's not helping with their health and well-being. As a dog owner, I'm always trying to figure out what is the best way of helping my dog to have a healthy and happy life. And one of them is the part that I really did research about, and I have spent years of understanding and studying dogs' diet. And one of them is that the food that we feed our dog is either going to help them survive or help them thrive. Is there a food or a diet that can do both? Help our dogs to survive and also thrive. Unfortunately, kibble or dry food is not one of them. There is a long list of why you shouldn't be feeding your dog dry food. I'm going to give you some of the reasons why you shouldn't be feeding your dog kibble. Let's go. Basically, dry food or kibble is not natural food. It contains chemicals, additives, preservatives, which is all not natural. It is a processed food and contains carcinogens. It puts your dog into a full dehydration state. It forces your dog to drink excessive amount of water, which puts pressure on their bladder. It's non-species appropriate diet. It contains poor quality meat byproducts, synthetic vitamins and minerals. It causes inflammation and allergies and many other health issues. So why are we in general feeding our dogs kibble or dry food? Believe it or not, most dog owners, based on the research that I have done, is that they simply don't know. They don't know that there is any other food other than kibble or dry food that we can feed our dogs. Food companies and marketing, the way they have done it, they've done a great job of making sure that dog owners understand that the only food that they need to feed their dogs is kibble or dry food. They call it dog food. But dog food these days has improved, has changed. We don't really necessarily need to only feed our dogs kibble or dry food. As I mentioned, there's so many things wrong with kibble or dry food. It causes a lot of health issues to develop because of the toxins that exist in the formula itself and the way it's processed and the way it's made to feed your dog. And food companies, as I said, they've done a great job of brainwashing all dog owners, everybody actually, that the only choice that they have about feeding their dogs is dry food or kibble. So when you feed your dog kibble or dry food, your dog gets sick, gets ill, has health issues. So therefore, you take it to the vet, and the vets mostly are paid by food companies to promote their foods, their products as well. So the vets will suggest you to give them different kind of dry food or prescription food or medication. which all benefits the food companies. So this cycle goes around and around. So that's one of the tactics of food companies, pet food companies, that make you to stay in that format and constantly profit them and get your dog full of toxins. So as a dog owner myself, I know this is a little bit harsh to tell, but I would never ever feed my dog kibble or dry food. Never, ever. Because it's not a natural food. It's not a natural species appropriate diet for my dog. So therefore, I would never feed my dog kibble or dry food. So the reason why most dog owners are feeding kibble or dry food is, first of all, they don't know. Lack of knowledge. And so this is why I'm doing this video series, and I'm doing this video so you will become an educated dog lover and make a difference in yours and your dog's life. So let me explain this situation in a little bit of a different format, different way, so you have an understanding of what is going on. So why did we start feeding our dogs kibble or dry food in the first place? Let's trace the history of kibble or dry food. Before and after dogs were domesticated by humans, dogs used to hunt. They used to eat prey. They used to eat whatever they could find. They would find and kill and eat. They were raw fed. Based on my research, in Middle Ages, people used to give their dogs raw scraps from humans. In about 18th century, people gave their dogs raw horse meat. That was because horses were very common in that era. They were used a lot. The horses were used for transportation, and not many horses would be able to survive to do a long-term work. Therefore, they would die early, so the meat was used to feed the dogs. In mid-18th century, humans discovered canning system. Canned food was invented, but we started cooking the horse meat and can it for the dogs. In late 18th century, somebody invented dog biscuit, which basically was the beginning of kibble or kibble formula. In 1900s, canned food and dry foods were fed to dogs. So these were cooked. And in mid-19th century, canned food was forbidden due to Second World War, and instead kibble was used. Kibble or dry food. In the late 1900s, kibble kind of changed and improved and became a product called dog chow, which was very popular, and it's still popular. And this was invented, and dogs have been fed the same formula ever since. So remember, dogs are being fed the same formula since 1900s. The same formula, which there was no scientific studies done, no scientific or nutritional study had taken place, and today we know a lot more about dog nutrition and diet. One fun fact that you need to know is in 1900s, when canned foods became popular and they were using horse meat to feed the dogs, they were cooking the meat because civilized dogs living with civilized humans would only eat cooked meat. Wild and non-civilized dogs would eat raw meat. So this was kind of decided based on humans' class level. So we have to go back to the way we originally used to feed our dogs. Raw food, raw meat. There are so many benefits that you get from feeding your dog raw meat, and there is a long list of benefits. What should you do now that you know the truth? Now that you know that kibble or dry food is not a natural, species appropriate diet for your dog, try focusing on feeding fresh, whole food. Understand that there are other options than feeding kibble or dry food. Try to explore them all. Invest time and money in learning about raw diet and what you should do about feeding your dog a proper diet. My suggestion is to start feeding a raw diet to your dog because it is simple, it is appropriate, it's natural, it has tremendous amount of benefit when you feed your dog raw. So remember, every time you're feeding your dog kibble or dry food, every day, every meal that you're feeding your dog kibble or dry food, you're adding toxins to your dog's body and its system. Eventually, something is going to go wrong and something major or minor is going to happen. If you like to talk about this topic and if you want to join the conversation, let's start talking about it in the comments area. Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think about this topic and what we should do about changing the way we think about dogs' diet? And let me know if you are feeding your dog raw diet and if you are seeing any benefits, or if you are feeding your dog kibble or dry food and you see no harm into it. If you like to learn more about raw diet and benefits of raw diet, I highly suggest you to watch this video and also this video. Until next video and next episode, have fun with your dog.